Okay, I thought I was not going to figure it out again. Maybe it's trying to do it by candlelight. I am so grateful to be here this evening. It's it's wild with it being dark so early, and I hope you can see me just fine. I guess it doesn't really matter if you can, because what matters is what you hear, right? So, for those of you joining me for the first time or just seeing this for the first time, this is an experience in the Akashic Records, and by participating in this evening, you'll get to see what a reading is like with me. So, I am going to read the prayer. It's an Akashic prayer, and I always say this at the beginning. If you haven't had an Akashic reading before and you meet with someone who does Akashic Records, it is customary, traditional to read an Akashic prayer. Um, and I'm just giving you that for your education, your knowledge. And the one I'm using is the traditional one. Not that that matters. It's what I know, what works for me, and always trust whatever you are drawn to or who you connect with. So I'm going to read the prayer, and I would just encourage you or invite you to maybe, wherever you are, close your eyes for a minute and let yourself relax and just feel yourself becoming open and able to receive whatever you need to receive from this session tonight. Maybe you'll even notice something pops in your mind, and you want to take that as a nudge from your guides to ask about it. And I'll tell you what's so cool is you don't even have to, hang on here, ask a question out loud. You can silently think it. Your guides are going to get it through if it needs to get through. Okay. Oh, let's see here. Okay, I'm going to read the prayer. So, like I said, just take a minute and let yourself listen. I ask God if He will have His shield of love and truth around you permanently, so only God's love and truth will exist between you and me. I allow the masters, teachers, and loved ones of you to channel through me out of whatever realm to say whatever they wish. I ask the permission of the Lords of the Akashic Records, so I'm able to look into the records of you and remove whatever information I'm allowed. Okay. And I always like to start with a general message from the guides. And when I say the guides, okay, that would be my guides, your guides, whoever is drawn here to this message, whether it's live right now or you watch this at a later time. Just know that your guides had a hand in bringing you to this information and bringing us all together. And I also, as you heard in the prayer, invite the ascended masters in the universe, departed loved ones, and you have to know this whole divine energy that's around us, this unseen world. They are always co-creating together, and for us to have a I don't know if I want to say better experience here, but you know what? They're co creating to help us here, to really live the best life we can be living, and to, you know, being human, there's a lot of, rocks on our path. There's a lot of things to stumble over. And they really want to come together to help us navigate those rocks. And maybe not look at the rocks as such big obstacles, and yet as opportunities to grow and evolve. So I think it's fun doing group readings like this and seeing who all comes together and what all the guides want to bring through. So we're going to start with a general message from them. And of course, they are always grateful that you are here, that you are tuning in to this information, that you are curious, and they want to share they are saying that each and every one of you that has found your way here, they want you to acknowledge yourself as an evolved being, as someone who's bringing, and they're using this word, higher energy, but they don't want you to think higher is better, as in we're better than other people. What they're meaning is higher energy as in love and joy and peace. Those are all of the higher emotions. It doesn't make the other ones bad, doesn't mean they're better than the others, because they all exist here simultaneously. Yet, the higher emotions are where healing happens, and how the world becomes a kinder place, and how life does become easier for people. And so they want to thank you all here, and they want you to recognize yourselves as contributing to healing on the planet just by being open to share in this work. That's really lovely. They would like to go back a little bit. If you have watched any of these, any of the sessions or joined them, a couple of times ago they talked about the Velveteen Rabbit, and it's a children's story. And what they are asking, and of course they ask as more of a suggestion, guidance, they would like for each of you to remember some stories from your childhood, children's books that were special to you. And what they're saying is, right now, again, we're watching a lot of stuff in the world, and for those of you that don't watch the news, I'm sure on some level stuff is going on. And those of you that are watching the news, your heart is getting tugged, no doubt. Now, the guides are wanting to share. Children have beautiful energy, and they come in with such an innocence and a lightness, and they're so connected to the divine, and they look at the world as a place of one. They don't recognize skin color, they don't recognize one religion over another, and every animal is amazing. And so they would like to see more of that innocent, youthful children's energy cultivated, that uh, that we can be living in. Now, what we can do is cultivate that for ourselves, within ourselves. And so they are asking for you to share some children's books that you absolutely loved, that lifted you up, that inspired you, that just made you feel good. And they're not saying you have to go all the way back to 4 or 5. It might be something you read in, the 6th grade, but they would like for you to remember those books and get them out, or read one that you haven't read in a long time. And they would even encourage you to share the names of these books. And they said when you read them, it's like you step back into that time and space, and you become united with that innocence, of childhood that you came in with. And they think that would be a lovely gift to bring to the planet, into your time and space, into your environment, into yourself. And they always like to remind that whatever you do for you, you're doing for the whole of the planet. And it may not feel like, how could I be sitting here, in my living room or in my office or wherever you might be, and affect the planet? But you can. You really can, because think about it this way. We're all energy, and everything's just radiating out from us. And so when I'm sitting here and I'm reading a children's book, and I feel my spirit lifting, and I'm just like, oh, I just remember how, wonderful it felt at that time to connect with that work. It's like that energy is what's radiating out. And so no matter who's around me, they're going to benefit from that. And even if no one's around me, that energy still goes out. It's unlimited. And they want you to understand that. They said if you could really see how big you are, how big you are, how far your reach is, you would wonder completely how you fit into this little body that you're sitting in right now, watching this video or joining us live. And so they would like for you to understand the magnificence of who you are and how powerful you are. And in your thoughts, in your words, in your actions, in your feelings, you have to know it is reaching around the world. You can't grasp that with your human mind necessarily, and you're not meant to. Don't even try and wrap your head around that. They want you just to feel it and believe it. Mm-hmm. So if anyone, oh, there's one. The Wizard of Oz, Charlotte's Web, Little Women. Oh, I love it. Um, One of my favorite books is Hope for the Flowers. I don't know if y'all have read that. Um, and I liked, what was it? I was a little bit older when I read Watership Down. But if y'all want to share books that you've loved as a child, please send them through. Please send them through. Black Beauty, for those of you that love horses. That was great. National Velvet. Now, see, I could probably go on and on with children's books, but please share as you think of them. And maybe what I can do is get a list together and and share that list out. Where the Wild Things Are, that's another one. Um, oh, The Places You'll Go. Yeah, Dr. Seuss. That's great. Okay, so let's see here. See, you get even in a good mood just sharing these book titles. So how can it not affect, everyone that's coming into touch with this material? This is great. Okay, let me see what else they have for us here. They would also like to remind us to think more like children. Children are not judgmental. Like I said earlier, they don't see skin color. They don't see, differences in religion. And, all animals are wonderful. And so they would like to encourage us, remind us to think more like children with that innocence, with that openness. Many of us, they said, many of us here deal with issues of safety, and we do not feel like this world is a safe place to be. And they understand that things happen on this human journey that give us those feelings, that cause us to react that way and think that way. Yet they want to assure you this is a safe place to be. You are here because you're here and you want to be here. Your soul is invested here. If you are here and alive, it's because you want to be here. And you know there are good things here for you and wonderful things to participate in. May not be your story right now, may not have been your story in the past, yet if you're here, it's because you believe on some level that life can be different, life can be better, and that you really can trust this is a safe place to be. And they said it's judgment of things that makes us feel unsafe. And so when we practice a non-judgment way of living and we allow ourselves just to be curious of what's going on, why it's going on, and we refrain from judgment, we will start to feel safer. Now that they could spend a lot more time on, but they're not going to this evening. They just want you to think about when you don't feel safe, why don't you feel safe? Is it appropriate to have that feeling today, or is this from something that's a long time ago, that's no longer a part of your story? Nothing for you to carry further. And so be curious, be open, and let go of any judgments. hmm Think like a child. See everyone as one. And really know that we're all just wanting to be healthy, happy, and loved. Oh, there's another James and the Giant Peach. Anne of Green Gables. We're all going to want to go uh, get a bunch of children's books tonight. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to go to a question here. Hang on. Takes me a minute. Okay. Speaking of books, we have two people together working on a book, and they sent in a question. We'd like a message to validate our work together on the Southern Book Project that will lead to success and helpful impact on others. Okay, that's great. I love that we're talking about books, and that's a question here. Validate our work together on the Southern Book Project that will lead to success and have a helpful impact on others. Okay. Okay. So, the guides are saying that they are grateful that you are working on this project, and so that should be your first message. They also would like to tell you that Halloween is an important time. All Saints' Day is an important time, this time of year in particular. And so you should expect to see traction on this project, pick up pace, and really be moving in the direction to come out at the time of Halloween, whether that's next one or the one after, I'm not sure yet, but I'll ask and see if they can give me specifics. Well, they said a lot of that depends on how much action you take. But what they're saying, and the reason they're picking this time is because, you know, Mexicans celebrate Day of the Dead, and we celebrate, All Saints' Day, and there's so many other customs and cultures and rituals around the world that honor something similar. And the reason we do that, the reason those celebrations happen, is the belief that when we honor our departed loved ones and we acknowledge them as having gone, it keeps them around. It keeps their spirits alive. And in Mexico, with honoring their ancestors, they really believe that if they don't, that their spirit will dissolve, I guess is the best way to put it, no longer cease to be. And so they want to keep feeding the energy of that spirit and keep their memories alive. And we all want that. I read something yesterday that said, I think in 2123, 100 years from now, none of us will be here. And how many of us even know our grandfather's father's name? And I really thought about that, like, gosh, that's so true. Um, you know, are we going to be remembered? Is somebody going to be celebrating us? Anyway, point being, back to your Southern Project book. It is about stories. It is about people. It is about keeping their memories alive. And it's about reconnecting those of us today with stories of before. And it's kind of like the innocence of children. There's an innocence in some of these stories, that are set back in time, or that are rooted in a different history. And so they're saying that it raises the vibration again of people connecting with that work, and there will be people connecting with that work. They said it is a very healing project, and you may not have looked at this as a healing project, but it is. And they said it's important to remember, and it's important to connect. And so when we read these stories that you are collecting, it allows each of us to look in the mirror and find the meaning in the story that resonates with us, that reminds us of something within ourselves. And so it's very important, they said. Hang on here. So what they're saying is it will coincide with this time frame, uh, because it is about memories, it is about stories, and it is about keeping spirits alive. Let's see here. And if you have more questions with that, please write in. But let me know if that makes sense to you. Let me see if I answered that. Okay, yeah, I think we got that. Okay, another question here. I often wonder what my soul agreement is with my son. I've studied it through the lens of numerology and astrology. Is this something that can be seen in the Akashic records? I am curious to know what you see. Okay. Okay. So your soul relationship agreement with your son. Okay. Hang on here. So they said there are many agreements we have with our loved ones here, and they are in layers, so we can't always see just one, and sometimes seeing one will reveal another. Hang on here. One of the things they're showing for you with your son, they keep showing me the image, and they're sticking with the children's theme tonight. That's appropriate with your son. And they are, I'm looking around here. Okay, they are showing me the story of Winnie the Pooh and Christopher Robin carrying his Pooh Bear. Now, hang on here. And I'm seeing if you're Pooh or you're Christopher Robin. That's funny. So one of the things they're saying, if you know the story of Winnie the Pooh and Christopher Robin, they're saying that he is here to have many adventures, and you are like the teddy bear, the comfort, the security blanket for him to feel safe. They said for him to feel safe, to go out into the world. And that is something you, with your Winnie the Pooh wisdom, they said, must encourage him to trust in. Right, hang on here. Now that is just one. Hang on, they're going to give me a little bit more. Okay. They're showing me a lifetime with him. Hang on here. I'm being taken to a boat, and it's just, it looks like a giant boat capsized, but you escaped on a smaller boat. And it looks like, I'm trying to see who's in there with you. Doesn't feel like the Titanic, I will say that. A lot of people I know have a connection there, but this doesn't feel like it. If I had to say, it would be, give me 1 second here. Looks like a giant fishing vessel. Could be off the coast of Greece. On here. You are, okay, what they're saying is there is a lifetime that you were the father and he was the son, and in this lifetime this boat capsized. There are many people on there, but they're showing the two of you in a boat and really moving through rough seas trying to get back to land. And they're showing you as being very stern, but more because you wanted you wanted to get back to safety of the land, and there was no room for error, and it was a very perilous journey. And if they'll show me more of who's in the boat, I don't know if that matters, but it looks like the two of you rowing. It does look like you make it back to land. Hang on here. Give me 1 second. That trip forever changed you, though, and made you never want to get back into the water again and want to stay only on the land. And you felt deeply for the people that did not make it on the fishing vessel. You forbade your son to pursue a life on the water, and chose safety above anything else. And you began to live in a more rigid, structured way. And again, all with good intentions of wanting to prolong life. So, what they're saying is, we're going to get to this time here, this lifetime. Let me come to see what happens. One of the things with this lifetime is safety is another issue. There's an issue for him of feeling safe. And your role this lifetime is to not be the rigid, stern father, but to be the intuitive, kind, sensitive mother that knows how to nurture and love and bring the Winnie the Pooh effect to his life. So he is on a journey of, you could say he is an adventurous soul, and he is choosing some big adventures in his lifetime. They do seem to revolve around safety. The last few, as a matter of fact, the guides are telling me the last 7. And this is another one. And so your role with him is to let him have his adventures and let him realize no matter what happens, it's still a safe place to be. So in that is work for you to do as well, because you are recovering from the role of father in a previous lifetime with him, where safety became your number one issue, and you are learning to abandon that drive, I guess, of being safe. Let me see here what else they're showing. If any of you that are joining tonight, I love seeing all these names pop up. There's Susan, Elizabeth, Wendy, Lanier, Francis, Diane, my cousin Becky, Alice. Okay, if any of you have questions, y'all are welcome to type them in. I'm going to spend just a second more here on this lifetime and the agreement with this woman and her son. So he is, they're saying, has an agreement with you to take you on adventures also. Give me 1 second. And his ability to live this life with a sense of freedom and trust will also free you from this lifetime where safety was so important. Okay, here, let me see. Let me ask this one more thing. So I will tell you this, there are grandchildren in your future. That is when you'll know things have come full circle and that children are back in your experience. It's that innocence and that sense of freedom, that excitement to be here, and that they want everyone to know. You know, no matter what's going on in the world, no matter what has happened in your life, no matter, children are still coming in. Children still want to be here. Children still realize this is the place to be. And so if we can catch on to that, like, why are they here? Why are they coming? Because this really is the place to be. This is where things happen. And so they want to reassure everyone connecting here tonight, that there is something divine in your life, in your journey. And adopting that childlike attitude and innocence will lead you to that quicker, they said. So thank you for these questions. Okay, any thoughts on my article? Will the new editor publish it soon? Okay. So I am hearing before the end of the year. Does look like it. Might be something they decide they want to launch in the new year, but I don't. I feel like they're debating that. Does feel like it's still going to come by the end of the year. And the reason I'm saying that is because they're giving me an image of Christmas stockings. You know, like stockings hanging by the fire. That, you know, it was the stockings that hang all the treats, you know, the delicacies, and that's what they're showing. So I don't know if it's going to be a Christmas debut. Hang on here. Let me see. But it does feel like before the end of the year. Looks like the new person with it's going to act much quicker. Feels like is a real business, bam, bam, bam kind of person. Takes care of business, if that makes sense. Okay, here. Curious about my, let's see, curious about my future in health and happiness. Okay. So one of the things they're saying is illness has a hard time existing when the mind is in a place of joy. So the body and the mind are so closely related. And the body often reflects what is going on in the mind, what emotions are trapped. And so if we have health conditions, it's really important to look up and study and uncover the emotional relationship to that health condition and really treat the emotional body. And so when they say, you know, read the children's books, lift your spirits, that goes for watching comedy shows, watching things that make you laugh. Joy is where health exists. And laughter is the quickest way to get yourself up to joy. And so if you can make it a priority to bring more laughter into your life, spend more time with children, and realize you don't have to look for the rocks on the path, and don't watch out for the obstacles. Just trust that these angels and your loved ones in heaven are going to move them out of your way. Even though that may not have been your experience so far, it can be now, and that's something you're asking to believe in. So you're still going to have a few health issues, they're saying. Doesn't look like anything that is what I would say fatalistic. And you still have time to alter the trajectory of some of these health issues by how you spend your time. And that again, it's being playful, playing with children, laughing, all of that. Let me see. Okay. Well, and you know what? That's so funny. They answered that question in one, didn't they? Health and happiness, they go together. So, hopefully that was helpful to you. Okay. Does my son have any messages for me, my husband, or his little sister? Okay. Let's see here. Okay, hang on here. He is, hang on here. Give me 1 second. Let me get him in here. Oh, you know what? I am so glad you asked this question and that you joined us this evening, because I swear to God, the guides really do make all this happen. So your son is the epitome of spirit that we are all guided to reach for. I know your heart hurts. He left at a time that's just way too soon, way too soon, way too soon. And yet at the same time, his memory is so beautiful in that childhood innocence. It's like it's been arrested there. And so when you think of him, that's what you think of, this happy, laughing, gay, just joyful child. And they, your guides, all of our guides are saying your son left you a gift in this and left all of us a gift in this, because we can imagine him, and when we think of him, we think of this little boy laughing, this little boy having so much fun, and this little boy with so much heart and joy. And he is exactly what the guides have been saying we need to cultivate within ourselves. He demonstrates exactly what they were saying, how children come in here. It's just so beautiful. And so he is a big, bright, beautiful spirit. And he not only has a message for you and your husband and his little sister, he has that message for all of us. And he 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 is saying to live like he lived and look at the world like he looked at the world. He is telling me to tell you he loves you so much. He loves you more than he ever did before. And each day his love grows stronger for you. And he has so much appreciation for you and your husband for dealing with his loss and having to live with that loss each day. And he knows that your hearts have not healed, and they're not going to in the way you would like for them to, because he's not coming back in the physical, yet he is all around in the non-physical, and he feels your love for him. And he said that this will ease and ease and ease over time, and you will find the joy in all of the ways he continues to show up. There's so much love, so much love. And you know what? He's so especially grateful that you brought a question up that involved him tonight, because he feels like he got to be on stage and he got to share with more and bring. He said he's meant, oh my gosh, that's so great. He's meant to have a big message on the planet. His life was not in vain, and this you know. And by him getting to be a demonstration for all of us tonight, that is evidence of how big he's supposed to be, how many people he's supposed to touch in more ways than you can possibly imagine. Let me see if there's anything else. That's so sweet. And if you could all just feel this sweet energy around you and hear a child laughing and see those bright, clear eyes, that's what's here. Sweet. Okay. Let me see here. Does Kim's brother Christopher have a message for her? Let's see here. Well, okay. He's gonna upend our conversation a little bit. He said that he's glad to be where he is, and he said he knows that we just talked about this is where it's at. He said for him, his soul had a big journey here and lots of stuff, and he's glad to be taking a break. Even though this is where it is, sometimes we need a vacation even from vacations. Does that make sense? He does not want to rain on our parade, he says. He did love his life and all that he learned from it. He did not choose the easiest life, and that's okay. It played out exactly like he wanted. And he is glad to be where he is, and he wants you to know, no matter what age someone goes into spirit, whether it be like this child, or whether it be like your brother, they still continue to pay attention here and evolve along with us. Now he is telling me he's he's not going to take that long of a break. Actually, he is saying he wants to go when he comes back. He wants to go to New Zealand. He wants to be an Aussie or Australian or Kiwi in New Zealand. I don't know if he ever talked about that, but that's what he's saying. Said looks pretty good to him from where he is. Okay. Let's see. Trying to find time for creativity, painting, and or writing. Having a hard time with balancing life. Is this something I should continue pursuing? Okay, yes, absolutely. And what they would ask for you to look at is what are you giving priority to? And change your thoughts around that. And they said so many of us feel like we have to be constructive, productive, and making the best use of our time. And so we put things like our creative projects, to the side, like their hobbies. Like, oh my gosh, these are things of children. Children love to draw and paint and write and tell stories. Absolutely, you're supposed to be doing this. And I'm so glad you asked this question, because it's like any of us that want to be doing that, that keep putting it to the side because other things take priority. We're just being too much adults, the guide said. So they would love for you to kind of put your adult in time out, and really give yourself that time and that space for that balance. And so the reason you're not is because you're too busy adulting, they said. You're too busy being a mature adult. And and while that's good and serves you on many levels, it doesn't serve you on all levels. And you have to remember, we are multifaceted beings here, and we can't just be here one way. We can't. We have to honor all parts of ourselves. So, hang on here. So, yes, creativity. And let me see if there's anything else here. So, yeah, they said quit adulting too much. And the other thing they're saying is ask yourself, who is it serving for you to put these other priorities on your list, these adult priorities on your list? And is there a bit of a perfectionist thing going on there? I had a conversation with someone, and she did a meditation, and she tried to connect with the inner child within, and she said the image was this little girl just scribbling and saying, I don't want to color in the lines anymore. Don't want to color in the lines. And I thought, gosh, that's our perfectionist as adults. It's like we live by the rules and the have-tos and the responsibilities, the do's. And you know what? Life is meant to be messy. We're not meant to color in the lines. And you have to give yourself permission to be that way. And let your perfectionist take a break. And realize the perfectionist is there because it wants you to feel safe. And if everything is perfect, then you're safe. And remember, you're already safe. And life is meant to be imperfect, so to speak. So they want you to remind yourself that you're safe, you're safe, you're safe. And you watch when your productivity in your adult life is going to go through the roof when you let yourself be creative. And they would like for you to just give yourself that little test so you get the evidence of that. That's great. Okay, let me see here. Does my mother-in-law have a message for my husband and I? Okay. So your mother-in-law, she too says she loves you very much. She is happy to be where she is. She feels free and peaceful for the first time in a long time. It was very hard for her to leave. And she feels very loved by you. and very missed by you both. She is showing me all these flowers, 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 and she's like showing up for you in a butterfly. And she said, keep planting the flowers, keep planting the beautiful flowers, because it lets her be around um, as long as they're blooming. Hang on here. She is also showing me that she has been, give me one second here. She has been sitting outside like a hawk on the wire, really big one, and she's watching over you. She wants to know that she's watching over you both with her hawk's eye, she said. So don't be surprised if you're finding feathers. Feathers that she is light now in heaven, like angels we associate with wings, but feathers like the hawk. You might find big feathers. She said she is leaving you heart shapes. So you might see heart shapes in the clouds. You might see heart shaped stones, heart shaped leaves. Uh, I'm not sure. But watch for that too. Let's see here. There looks like a new child around, a new grandchild around. I can't quite tell, but hang on here. Might be one more to come. Let me see. She said she hears everything you're saying, and she feels really proud that she raised a good man, and she is so glad that you're with him and that you're together. And she said she wants to thank you for being so good to him, and that you two have found a home in each other. And she loves your love. That's sweet. That's so sweet. Okay, let me see. Did I get everyone today? Alright. Oops. Okay. Well, let me see. These were all some really, really wonderful questions. I just love how everything weaves together so beautifully. I really do. You know what the guides are saying? For each and every one of you on the call tonight, each and every one of us, they want you to do something. Now, if they could give all of us marching orders tonight, what they would have every single one of us do this weekend is finger paint. Finger paint. They're saying there's nothing more childlike and whimsical and silly and playful like finger painting. And yeah, they said they would love it for you to share what you finger paint. Isn't that so much fun? I couldn't tell you the last time I've finger painted. Alright, hang on one second here. Okay, give me. They are. Well, I'll tell you this. We're bringing in music too, songs, music. And now, this is so funny. Some of the happiest music on the planet is Jimmy Buffett. So they would listen to the Jimmy Buffett channel on Spotify or Pandora or wherever, but they want you to know, if you're just listening to music and a Jimmy Buffett song comes on, that is a gift. And so we all know he is in spirit now, and he is no longer producing music here in the physical. However, what he's doing now, and this is so damn cool, is he is sending that music out in spirit. And so if you find yourself, it's caught on the radio, you better know he's thinking of you, and he's sending you that song as a gift to brighten your mood, to lighten your mood, and put a little pep in your step. So they're saying he is a modern day ascended master. and he continues to give from his place in spirit. He hasn't missed a beat. No pun intended. That's awesome. Well, how cool is that? Okay. All right. Anything else? Anyone? Anybody have any other questions? Oh, look, I listen to Jimmy Buffett all the time. See? That's awesome. Okay. Well, I think then we are complete, and I am so grateful for everyone joining tonight, for all of the questions that came through and the wisdom that was shared because of your questions. It's really, really just never ceases to amaze me what comes through when we all get together like this. So, again, thank you. I wish you all a wonderful rest of your week, and I look forward to seeing you next week again with our candlelight and more wonderful questions. And we'll see. We'll see how often Jimmy Buffett shows up this week, huh? All right. Much love to you all. Thank you. Thank you.